Yesterday night, I did a detailed analysis on what a William Ruto win at the Supreme Court means politically. And in this video, I'm not going to repeat that. Right now, I want to make some observations from what I've seen at the Supreme Court of Kenya. And I want to tie that to what William Ruto through Dennis Itumbi has been saying, and also on Wafula Chebukati's declaration of William Ruto as the winner of this year's presidential elections. Before we dig deep into that, in case you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. We all saw the evidence that was adduced before the Supreme Court judges. Personally, I believe, and I still believe, that the evidences that were presented before the Supreme Court justices were enough, more than enough, to nullify this year's presidential elections. But from the look of things, the judges ignored all that, and they have just confirmed William Ruto as the winner of the election. That, in my honest opinion, shows that the judges were not brave enough to stand for the truth. The judges were not brave enough. And this is why I still maintain, ladies and gentlemen, that the biggest problem Kenyans have are these individuals and people who are entrusted with responsibility. They are always not brave enough to stand with the people. They are only seeking their self-glorification and their self-interest. And I'm saying that even based on what we have been seeing by some of these elected leaders, a leader being elected in one party and then crossing over to another party. And from what the judges have also, from that verdict, even though Raila Odinga has accepted the verdict, personally, it will be very hard for me to accept that verdict because we also the kind of evidence that were presented before the Supreme Court judges. It will be very hard for me to accept that kind of a verdict. And while issuing the verdict, Martha Koome termed Julie Soweto's presentation, where Julie Soweto exposed on how some foreigners might have gotten access to IBC portal. Martha Koome termed that as sensational. And if you look at Dennis Itumbi's post, immediately Julie Soweto made that presentation, Dennis Itumbi also termed that sensational. So it's clear the Supreme Court justices and Dennis Itumbi were reading from the same page and are still reading from the same page. Dennis Itumbi termed Julie Soweto's presentation sensational. That's the exact word Martha Koome has just used. And then this morning, I think yesterday night, Dennis Itumbi confirmed that there was going to be a unanimous decision. He posted through his social media accounts 100%. That's what we have seen coming from the Supreme Court judges. An indication that Dennis Itumbi and his team were in contact, most likely with the judiciary, and in this case, the Supreme Court. These are my observations, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm really left wondering the independence of that Supreme Court itself. That's something that I'm still really left wondering. If even the servers alone, IBC refused to open, and then the Supreme Court justices still goes ahead to legitimize William Ruto's win. It's very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And also, if you look at what has happened, it has very serious lessons and ramifications. If you look on how Raila Odinga played his politics all along. One reason that made Kenyans love Raila Odinga was his fight for democracy, his fight for the democratic space. That's what endeared a good majority of Kenyans to Raila Odinga. And if you look at what has happened at the Supreme Court, because they were 7, and then they have a unanimous decision, I term that as democracy. The majority has won at the Supreme Court. And with Wafula Chebukati's declaration, I don't want to dispute it now that it has also been validated by the Supreme Court. Democracy, whether true or false or forced, in this context, I want to take it as democracy. Wafula Chebukati's false or fake or true democracy, if you tie it to the democracy of the Supreme Court, it shows me very clearly that a principle that makes a man is the same principle that destroys a man. What makes a man destroys a man. Democracy made Raila Odinga. Democracy in this context is destroying Raila Odinga. In that democracy is now sending Raila Odinga to Bondo. Though it's a good send-off because it's a peaceful send-off, a peaceful way of exiting the political stage. If you look at William Samoei Ruto, Ruto started his politics in the early 90s. And we know it's YK92 that started off William Ruto politically. And we know what YK92 did to this country. We know that. And just as I've said, that a principle that makes a man is the same principle that destroys a man. The same principle that started off William Ruto politically is most likely the same principle that will guide William Ruto. And it's also most likely the same principle that will one day retire William Samoei Ruto to Sugoi. And it's not a very good principle. And this is why I call upon William Samoei Ruto to make sure that upon being bestowed, or upon getting the instruments of power, he should use a lot of reason and a lot of wisdom. He should try all he can to deviate from the same principle that made him in the early 90s. Failure to which that principle might retire him to Sugoi someday, and it won't be most likely a peaceful retire. That's what I'm saying here. Because a man who lives by the sword dies by that same sword. Ruto has to let wisdom prevail. And more so, he has to tame his foot soldiers who are coming out as bloodthirsty. He has to tame them. Ruto must know he's now going to be sworn in as the president. He should reign on his rogue foot soldiers who are surrounding him. Let him reign on the likes of Oscar Sudi, the likes of Didmas Baraza, the likes of Sonko. William Ruto should reign on those leaders. Otherwise, they are just going to make his presidency a mockery. And also, ladies and gentlemen, from what has also happened, I'm fully convinced that we have Kenyans who are more equal than others in this country. Even from the results of Wafula Chebukati declared, Raila Odinga beat William Ruto in all regions of Kenya, save for Kalenjin Rift Valley and on the mountain. So I just don't understand how somebody who was beaten in 6 regions of Kenya ends up being the winner, ends up beating somebody who beats him in all 6 regions. The Supreme Court judges were not wise enough to fathom that. Actually, they have disillusioned quite a good majority of Kenyans. Kenyans most likely, in the coming years, quite a good number will not go to the ballot to cast their votes. That's exactly what is going to happen in the near future. The Supreme Court had the opportunity to make sure they correct that wrong. They have missed that wonderful opportunity. And that's why personally, even though Raila has accepted that verdict, I cannot accept that verdict. I tend to feel that the Supreme Court missed a wonderful opportunity. An opportunity they could have set this country on the right path to development. They have missed that opportunity. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. In our next video, I'm going to do a detailed analysis on what that ruling portends for Azimio and why I strongly believe that it's now time the Azimio Brigade sat down and worked on a plan B. That's going to be our analysis in our next video, maybe today or tomorrow. But for those who have been supporting us here, I'm very much humbled, very grateful for your continued support. And to any other person, in case you want to chat with me or to share information with me, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number. Or maybe you even want to support the channel, contact me through the number. To any other person watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. And if possible, subscribe, give this video a like. Thank you, God bless you, God bless Kenya. And before I forget, for those looking for solar energy, just Google Power Africa Solar and you'll get all your solar energy solutions from a reliable source. We have been recommending that to quite a good number of our fans here, and so far the feedback is positive. Google Power Africa Solar or just go to their website, Power Africa Solar, and you'll get more details on how to get their solar energy. God bless you. God bless Kenya.